So hi everyone, for those of you who managed to get in, I see that people are still coming into our Zoom meeting, so we'll give it a few minutes, but welcome to our Danziger Live. My name is Betty Finkelstein and I'm the CutFlowers marketing manager in Danziger. I'm very excited to open our new webinar today with many new faces, actually. So for those of you who are not familiar with Danziger, Danziger is a global breeder company that focuses on cut flowers and bedding plants for the past 68 years already. You most probably are familiar with our leading varieties such as the XLENCE and Million Stars Gypsophila, Scoops, Cobiosa, Paintball, Craspedia, Green Dragon, Limonium, and many, many more. Today, I have the pleasure of having both my dearest friend, Alison Bradley. We're happy to have you back. And the very, very talented Lara Leong, who has joined us today to talk about one of the most hottest trends today, weddings. So Lara will share with us some of her amazing and most creative designs for bridal bouquets. And she will share with us also some techniques and tips, and that will be very interesting. We would start with both Alison and Lara, and then, as always, we will move on to the Q&A questions. I remind you that you can use the chat anytime, and Alison and us will try to do our best to answer everything during the session itself. I would like to remind you that we have our Facebook, our Danziger Live Facebook page managed by Alison. We invite you to follow us. We always share our webinars, also recording of the webinars there and all the promotion for the next ones, as well as share some information, trends, a lot of your work. We share a lot of your design, and some of the florists are sharing their own design there, and we are welcome everyone. This is a place for you to share your thoughts, ask questions, and inspire others. We also invite you to share, to follow our Instagram, hashtag Imagine More Flowers, where you can upload and share your pictures, and we do the same. This is a place for inspiration. Now the stage is all yours, Lara and Alison. Have fun. We're looking forward to hear you.
Thank you, Betty. Hello, everyone. We certainly have got an interesting group of people here today from what I can see. We have people from as far afield as Singapore, Pakistan, California, Connecticut, heavens, and Poland, Polska, hiya Poland. So welcome to, I'm from the UK, of course. Welcome to everyone. Today, poor Laura, I've known Laura, I call her my little chipmunk sometimes. I've known her for a very, very long time. Could somebody switch off their Betty, good girl. I've known her for a very long time. She's a highly talented and extremely respected designer, teacher, and inspirational demonstrator too. For those of you who don't know, she's also deeply involved with an organization called World Skills, because apart from being a passionate teacher, she's passionate also about the next generation and trying to support and encourage them and to go forward. It's a great organization, and they're, in my opinion, very lucky to have Laura. So welcome, Laura. You are very, oh yeah, here we go. We've got people from Guatemala. Guatemala, hello. I'm from Hong Kong, and caramba. So, Laura, tell us a little bit about your journey in floristry, can you? While you're working, go for it, girl.
Certainly. I'm just going to quickly tell you what I'm doing so that you can see first off. I'm starting with a foundation that's made from very thick corrugated card. Yeah. And I've used something called, we call it in the UK, voile, which is very thin fabric, nylon-based fabric, sometimes used for draping. But because I wanted to get an aspect of transparency into the work, I started by just covering this with Spray Tack 2000 and then put it over flat.
Great.
And I was able to create a bit of a handle by using the end of the tape roll, and the tape roll from the Stemtex. No wastage, Alison.
Good girl.
By threading it actually just through the actual structure and the framework, like so, you can go in and out, and then make sure it's really on very firmly. So if I was to pass that back and forth several times, I can be very sure that it's going to hold the design effectively. So to answer your question, Alison, it's been a long journey for me. I've been a florist for a long time, too many years, but I've loved every minute of it. And my journey was initially commercial in the flower shop, and I learned. I went to college. I also bench trained. I went back to college, and then I went and I studied fine art at university and became a fine art lecturer. And I think there's a little bit of both processes in the way that I work.
Yeah, but also I think there's a jewel-like quality in what you do, because I remember, because we have worked together for quite a long time, and Laura has this predisposition for falling in love with something. So you tend to make bases because you've fallen in love with something.
I do.
And your ears have just dropped out, have they? No.
One of my earphones has just dropped out. I'm just going to go and retrieve.
Yeah, retrieve your ears. It's a bad day when your ears drop off. As anybody who knows me, I'm getting older, the same as everyone else. I'm just waiting for my ears to drop off as well, no doubt. No.
So you can see what I've started to do there, Alison. One of the things which I've fallen in love with in the days of fusion was that I would buy handmade paper. And this kind of paper is something which I find incredibly useful for starting to make a backing for any kind of design which has a romantic feeling to it. And quite often, a wedding design just needs that little bit of romantic help. And the fluff comes from this shredded handmade paper. I think this one's directly available commercially.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to show you how, by using the paper in a very specific way, by actually using a little bit of glue and folding the paper around the base of the jip, it enables me to actually bond the jip on with glue very effectively, so that it's not, you're not seeing stems. So if I position like this,
blends in
down, it blends in with the paper, and you see no stem and you see no glue. And that's part of my kind of thing. I like there to be good finish. So really, that's where I started with that process, and I wanted there to become a it's a bit risky now. I'm going to go, hope my ears don't fall out.
Oh God.
All the way round.
Oh wow.
And we have this kind of transparency in the middle.
Beautiful.
And the denseness of the jip around the edge,
yeah,
which is it's kind of already selling itself in the romance stakes, I think. And and it's something you can, these are a little bit bigger, some of these designs, than I would normally show, but it's for the sake of the camera. And another detail which I'm going to suggest that you try out is to cut from wallpaper. Now this is a type of wallpaper which I would call anaglypta or blown vinyl, and it has shapes like arabesques and flower patterns, I suppose. And I've cut one out, and I've used cold glue within a spreader. So I used a small spreader rather than straight from the bottle, to be very precise about how it goes on. And I can just show you how that's enabled me to fill shapes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You can see that it's that jewel-like quality, that kind of detail that I've always liked.
Yeah,
going through. And you can see how you can accessorize the center of the design by gluing, and you could even put the initials of the bride and the groom if you so wished. I have it
on you go. Sorry.
I have, while you talk, Alison, I have another design to just show you the whole thing in its entirety.
Even better. I'll shout a question to you. You can answer from under the table. That's fine. Young Amanda Coghill, happy birthday, darling. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. She's asking, where did you get your glue spreader, Laura? Oh my word. Oh.
From the internet, if you put craft glue bottle, you will find the thing listed, maybe from Etsy or some similar online provider. So you can see I've gone a bit wild in the aisles with this one to give you kind of what I would deem the true romantic effect.
Absolutely.
And
I've got a shiver. It's so beautiful. That is
I wanted to try to work with things which I know about brides, and things that I know about brides, 100% a surety. They like the design to make them look good. They want they want to look good. They want to look pretty. They want this romantic vision.
Yeah.
And anything that deviates too much from, does it make me look good? Is it romantic? Has it got that wow factor? Does it add to what I'm wearing? And I think that by making maybe a smaller version for those who wouldn't want to carry something so big as this, you would be on the money in terms of creating something which is both traditional, because brides don't veer very far from the traditional, actually.
No, they don't.
They like aspects of the traditional and aspects of modernity, but not too way out on their wedding day.
And what variety of jip is that you've used?
All of this is the best jip you can get, which is XLENCE. And I chose this specifically because it's the biggest head. It really stands up well for itself, and it gives that kind of value for money. And if you were making a buying list for this bouquet, it would contain one item. Whereas a lot of the bouquets that you would see on Instagram nowadays have got 10 stems of this, 2 stems of that, 3 stems of this, and your buying list is not very likely to make you money.
No,
so
exactly.
I think this concept of you using a material and really looking for a way to extract the detail from it is really a good commercial sense.
I'd be delighted to tell you that I'm getting lots of feedback about this, and they're all saying it's gorgeous, romantic, beautiful. I know they're definitely not talking about me. I'm sure they think you're beautiful, Laura, but it's definitely not me, that's for sure.
Oh,
that was absolutely exquisitely beautiful, but it does sum up what you're like, how you get your hands on something and you maximize on the way forward. Jackie,
I really do like to look for the characteristics of the material and see what it'll do.
what's the back like for holding? Someone's asking. What's like the back? But she had a handle. It's a hold. It's a hanging.
What I was going to say to you is the back is transparent. So because I knew I was going to be wearing black clothes or dark clothes, I used green wires for the back,
okay,
so that you don't see them. But if you was wearing a white dress, white wires. White. But I'll show you.
Cheers.
The back has. Can you see that? Okay.
Yes, we can. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you've got paper, but as I say, if it was a white dress, go for white wires. But can you see how the illusion is maintained against black?
Absolutely stunning. The thing with a bouquet like that, though, is my experience, because I don't do weddings anymore. but you have to teach the bride to carry that, how best it looks with her dress, etc.
Yes, definitely. I just did a little bit of jewelry to show you how you could use the XLENCE jip, and with it a little bit accent of stallion, because the form is very similar. The XLENCE jip and then the stallion is just a graduation in size. So blending the two, blending is one of my things. I like to blend form, blend color, rather than high contrast. I prefer blending. Yeah. And so using drilled up lines of gold wire and this was some kind of it was like a circular detail that you could find in the wholesalers, and I took it apart and found that it made discs with pearls on the edges.
Oh, perfect.
And I used all of those. Any flat shaped bead would do the same job, actually.
Yeah.
And it was possible then to create the detail. Something like that could be used as a foundation for a buttonhole, and also a scaled up version for a corsage. You can see against the black perhaps better.
Oh, it's just gorgeous. I just love it. You
So
know, there's no arguments on this. I love it. End of story.
I think Gyp's really an easy win for me. It's always it always performs, and I think XLENCE Gyp particularly always performs and gives you that great amount of volume, froth, romance, and all the things that you want for a wedding, really.
Actually, you know, we ran a competition. Yeah, folk are saying here, Gyp is so underrated. It's true. And Larry, hello, Larry, is saying the bouquet would make a wonderful idea for a wall decoration at a ceremony with their initials. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great concept. I love it. Brilliant.
It is. You can either use it in bunches or in single heads, and both give you two different effects. One is quite diffuse, one is quite opaque, and so you can move in and out of opacity and transparency, which is handy.
I have to say XLENCE is my go-to Gyp as well. So
definitely, absolutely beautiful. Now, just to change it up a little bit, I've got a handbag style design, and this one's featuring the amazing Craspedia paintball pop. And actually, this version has been dried out, and it's the sort of thing you could create as a base and have stand. And then just before you actually go into battle, as it were, on the day of the preparing for the wedding, you just add in the few flamboyant flowers that you need. So I'm just...
It is a kind of thing, because I think it's a very useful thing. I remember years ago talking to the lovely Jouni Seppänen up in Finland, and he and his team spend the month of January pre-making bases for the year ahead, because it's a quiet time and they can get things ready. So this is kind of like a case in point. You can have a base ready to rock.
Absolutely.
Especially with these last minute brides that you're getting so much of these days.
Yes, definitely, because it's been quite difficult to fit them all in, and they're having to be moved around, and they're asking for things at the last minute. So having something, actually the kind of theme of this workshop is having something ready that you can just dress. Yeah. So you use those downtimes, the 2 hours at the end of the day in the shop, or when things are quiet, to make the framework, save it, and then draw it out, and it will save the day on the actual day.
Jackie is saying, Jackie Smith-Johns, hi Jackie, my darling. Jackie is saying that in the States, people view Gyp as a funeral flower. They see it more as a funeral thing. And actually, we've come across that, Jackie, with other varieties of flowers, like the chrysanthemums, seen in certain countries as definitely a funeral piece. But actually, to other countries, it's their most prized possession as a chrysanthemum. So it swings in roundabout. Carnations as well, Jackie's saying. But well, I have to say, Laura's had a carnation named after her.
I have, and I honestly don't really understand, like, the way that people prioritize flowers for different uses. Yeah. Because I think it's all about what you do with it, and I understand culturally there are associations with certain uses, but actually, if you look at something new every time, you'll find a new thing to do with it. And I just wanted to point out, I've got the Craspedia paintball pop and one of the regular Craspedias from the market, just so that you can see the difference in the quality and the size of the head. Because it's not always possible to see that, is it, on a kind of a web shop? You can't make that out, but actually the difference in the vibrancy of the colour, and well, it's quite diminutive in comparison.
And it's also the strength of the stem. And I remember who was using it. I think it was Gabor. Gabor used them as well, and he was just like blown with the quality of the stems as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've just quickly formed in my hand a ball, because I threaded them using aluminium wire first off, and then quickly formed a ball. It was quite simple and quick to do. Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is take some aluminium wire and form a handle. So if I pass this round one of the fat orchid tubes a couple of times, if you can see to camera, and then twist a few times, and then leave a length. That will give you a pendant drop. So this is a super fast base for a bouquet. And if you drop that through a couple of places, it gives you the basis on which to build trails. So you can see that this is kind of a super flower that will give you, you can glue into it, you can drop off the sides of it. It's a very fast paced maneuver.
Yeah. Also, it's the thing with Craspedia is it dries really well.
Absolutely. I've got a design which I've kind of going to go into that a little bit more. My ears are falling out again, Alison.
Oh, it's just, do you know, you're getting older. That's what's wrong with you.
That's what it is.
Oh,
my ears are
off, Alison.
I know. I did wonder about strapping these headphones on with a little bit of pop tape.
Yeah, well,
but that wouldn't have been a good look, I don't think. Maybe some pop fix in my ears may be necessary.
Could be good. Could be a different look.
Right, so you can see I'm kind of able to build off this initial starting point and continue. Yeah. And another flower which I wanted to highlight today because it's so fantastic is Calanchoe. So I've got here some of the yellow Queen Calanchoe, and this is so nice compared to a plant Calanchoe. It's bionic. It's just super nice.
It's interesting because I posted something that I'd found in the Danziger database, and it was a relatively easy design to do, and then there was a beautiful wreath done in the various colors of that, and people were blown away by it. And I've been seeing cut stem for years, but it's coming across as if some people haven't come across it before. How about you guys that are in America? Have you seen this before? Have you seen not the Craspedia? On you go, Laura.
I would say the Calanchoe, you're right, it's been around, but people haven't probably used it tremendously much. Yeah. And it's just known as being a super long lasting cut flower, but in the bridal context, I think it has this possibility to, you can see, I'm not going to complete this bouquet, but I just wanted to illustrate how these two plant materials could quickly swing together to make a cascade form, and that you could begin to really build something which is quite quick and easy to do, because I've done literally all of it in front of you, and so few times would you see someone be daft enough to do that on a demonstration. But here I am showing you how that can start to knot together, and with some orchids and some kind of threads of foliage like Hoya, which would be beautiful. But I just wanted to really highlight how quick and easy it is to work with.
That's brilliant. Tell me, I've got a question here from, I think it's Jane. Yeah, what wire have you used to thread the Calanchoe on?
You see the difference? This is full strength aluminium, which is, I think, 0.1. This is the half weight one.
Right.
So it's the half weight one.
A halfway one. And yeah, they're saying here that some people are way off to look at their supplier list to see if they can find Coil cut on. You know,
there's lots of colours.
Don't look, ask for it, because if you create the demand, then people will follow. So if you say, look, I've seen this thing, don't tell me it doesn't exist, because that's what people often say. If you actually say, yes, it does exist, I've seen it, I can tell you who the breeder is. So that's how you create the demand. That's how you pressure them into bringing in material that you need.
Right. I've got a long handle. This is a type of bouquets that I've made for years, these kinds of plate bouquets. And I've used a cake board because it's nice and light. I only have to drill a few holes in it, put the 180 gauge wires through the whole length, and then flick them out, and that supports from that angle. And then I've gone on to cover the base with some yellow fabric, and the side I've covered, you can see here, we've got some felt. So this is Lerner felt, which is a lilac Lerner felt. And I just used the untreated edge, so it was a little bit fluffy. And I don't know whether you can tell me what I've covered the top with, Alison, because you're super clever.
Oh, because this is clever. Here I go. And I go. Oh, I have no idea.
It's paintball pop. But I don't know if I'm going to get killed by the growers for doing this.
Have you blended it?
What I've done is I've taken it to bits. So as is my way, I do like a bit of deconstruction. So you can see in here, it's super easy to just take a little bit from the sides, and when it's finished with, when the Craspedia is finished with and you're bored of it, this is what you can do. You can take it apart and it creates this amazing surfacing, and it's possible to stabilize the top and to treat it like a bouquet, because it has to stay good, the gluing has to be good, by using it's all put in place using PVA glue and then dropped on, and that keeps it stable. And I've got a couple of dried Calanchoe leaves, so I'm going to continue there. Can you see that okay?
Yeah, I can see it. I hope everybody else can.
Just shout up if not.
This is quite interesting. Here you go. In India, we get it in small pots. This is Calanchoe, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it can be Craspedia, but we can use marigold instead of Craspedia, which is so easily available in India, which of course it will be, yeah.
I did think the Calanchoe, when threaded, had a real look of the Indian marigold garlands to it.
Yeah. So tell me, what's your experience? I'm asking you, and I'm trying not to answer my own questions here, which is a bit tricky. But what would you say is the highest priority in terms of colour with brides?
Well, I would say, telling you the truth, it's an easy answer. And that over the years, if you look back over your sales, if you sell floristry and you particularly work with weddings, then you will note that even taking on board certain trends that happen, the dominant colour is white and pastels, and variations around pastels with little bits of tints and tones and shades. But those tints and tones and shades are subtle, because it's very few wacky brides, very few people want to take on the identity of being that far out on their wedding day. And I think the white still carries quite a traditional message.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's still often base white or base nude or some kind of variation on a pastel that the bride wears. And for that reason, they tend to want to keep in that arena at least.
Yeah.
What would you say, Alison?
For me, that's absolutely true. I was quite lucky, and well, there was times when I wasn't quite lucky when I had the brides I had, but they tended to come to me because they knew I would and could do different things for them. So there was times when I had to try and talk people down from the ideas they had, because, you know, to carry certain bouquets, you have to have confidence. And for a start, most brides are not used to their gowns, and, you know, so carrying off a gown. And the other thing is, I've got a thing that, do you know how much a bridal gown? Oh, hi, there's a question. How do you knot the Calanchoe? You didn't knot Calanchoe, did you?
I threaded it onto 0.50 gram wire, so it was all threaded in a line. I can get some and just show you.
Yeah, okay. 0.50 gram wire, and that's to Viviana. Oh, what a lovely name. That is a gorgeous name. Oof.
So you can see it's chain linked, so it's all threaded and graduated. I actually would normally do quite a bit of this with Lisianthus in my daily work, but I find that this Calanchoe gives me a finer trail and allows me to work in a way that's a little bit more tapered, and the size of the tendril is smaller, so it's quite useful.
I hate to say, but we've actually been joined by, you're maybe seeing a tail going past. And this cat has joined us. This is Mr. Ben, the famous Mr. Ben, who likes to tear his fur out. So sorry about this, folks. So Kavita is saying it's so different to us. We love the reds, bright pinks, oranges for brides. Jackie saying, hi, Mr. Ben. Yeah, and part of that is based on where you're located, Kavita, because you live in a country with strong sunshine, and certainly from my perspective, we don't. And so that has to be taken into account. There's also a Mediterranean thing where Mediterranean brides either go for all white, you know, pure white, or they will go for a strong color. And I think a lot of it has to do with the sunshine and things showing up. It's an interesting cultural difference, yeah?
I would agree. I think there's been some use of strong red across the nations with burgundy in protea, in perhaps dark tones, scabiosas. Those kind of have been blended with the pink range and the pastel range and the peach range to get that kind of depth into designs quite often.
Yeah, yeah.
You can see here for my
that was good.
For my design that I've got some ropes of Limonium, which I've created by binding very fine pieces to the 0.50 aluminium wire, and then I've used some Echeveria to trail around the length in order to give me this kind of contrasting colour harmony, but still very subtle and still very delicate. And it's quite lightweight to carry. The cake board is
it's very, you know, it's funny because I've had so many questions over the years about, you know, the huge style bouquets we see demonstrated on. I mean, I've seen you do them, my goodness. In fact, in your advert, one of them. They're so huge and they are hefty to carry. And whenever I'm asked about it, I say, you know, in all the years I've had brides come to me, I've never once had one saying, well, I'd like to lift that. Do I need to go to weight training so I can lift it?
It's absolutely true, and I think I said the same at the start. I would never make the designs as big as I show sometimes at shows, because often this is to try to reach an audience so that they can see when the thing is this big. But really, in truth, you have to talk about the build of the bride. I know if a bride is super skinny, and God bless her if she is, you really want that to be seen. You want them to maximize their assets. If she's bigger, then she can take a bigger bouquet and she can actually use it as a bit of a device to cover things she don't want to see. Absolutely. So I would always be talking quite frankly but delicately about what I think would work for them, what I think would look good for them, what would really make them be seen.
Well, you know, the common problem, or one of the many common problems in floristry these days, is that someone's seen something on Instagram and they've got a budget of £2.50, that's Scottish parlance, or $10. They come to you and they say, oh, I want this pergola, and I want this, and I want table centers that are like 20 feet high. Yeah, how much is that going to cost?
Exactly.
I have a budget of $10. Yeah, that's not going to work.
The eyes are bigger than the belly, aren't they? Always. And there's always this concept of thinking that everything can be done super cheaply, but you know, it's part of our skill to get across the reality of the situation, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I wanted to focus on this particular Veronica, which is one of my new hit list of flowers to buy, because I really hadn't given it a great deal of consideration. And now I will, because I've found a way of working with it that I like, and I've seen that it can do some quite neat tricks, and it's also very good value. For 100 stems, I paid not so much. So I was quite impressed, and it's super pretty, the SKYLER white. And I've cut it so that you can see how well flowered it is towards the base, because Veronica doesn't always open up well. But this one is the champion of Veronica.
Yeah.
So can you see how flexible it is? It will do a little snail trail.
My. Wow.
So I'm going to just take a, this is myrtle wire, so it's 0.30 gauge. And I'm just going to take that and close that around the tip of the Veronica to create a circle. Can you imagine that's a nice little small detail for a buttonhole?
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
It's really nice. And I thought we could go one stage further, and we could do double rings if we wanted to symbolize wedding rings. The other thing we could do is we could make, with the little extra parts that come on the side of the Veronica, because there's little friends, they don't just come as one, they've got little friends on SKYLER white. So if we look, I've made it into another part.
Oh my mother, that is gorgeous.
So that's two Veronica. And that's gonna, yeah, that's two Veronica, and that's something that I'm now gonna do more of, because I discovered that.
With SKYLER, I might have known it. Yeah, it's really is a gorgeous idea. Carrie Marshall Foster's on. She says she's got cut Calanchoe in her office that is 42 days old, and it's pretty lively.
Ah,
livelier than me, Carrie. Livelier than me, baby.
I was going to say, Carrie, you've got the moves there. Fair play to you. Big respect. I've made a few designs which are featuring compression materials. Like, it's really possible to use Limonium in many different ways. Limonium sinuatum is very flexible, and you can compress it using wires. So this is a base made of 5 180 gauge wires, into which I put a little loop like the one that I showed you on the Craspedia version. Yeah. And this is just a very simple small bouquet, which, you know, it could feature a small heart in there, and we could be ready to rock then. It's such a small thing, but the details maybe are something that would be appreciated, especially maybe for adult bridesmaids. It's possible to make some quite nice, simple forms, bind them up, have them ready and hung, because they will last for a long, long time. You can't really see the character of the material change tremendously much. And that is what I think is so popular with people who've got concerns about sustainability, who would like to keep the design in the long term. It's just a simple little idea whereby you could have a little pendant design, super light to carry, quite woodlandy.
Yeah, I like it very much. And you do get the occasional bride who wants to just go all green, don't you? You know, where it's like, I say occasional, it's not that often you get so many of them, but when they do, they go for the all green thing. And you know, Donald from up in the north of Scotland.
Do.
Yes, that's my boy. He's bless him. He is based near to a castle, and everybody falls in love with the castle, but they keep forgetting about flowers. And one of the things he was saying these green brides were asking him to do is to go and gather from the roadside, you know, these ferns, these lovely ferns which have carcinogenic problems, but put that to one side. And quite a lot of it is protected. And he said, you know, by the time they got the length of the road, they would have been dead in their hands. That's why they should go to a professional florist every time.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think you can do so much damage, can't you, to such a big day if you're not properly trained and you don't have the knowledge of what will last, what will actually work. You're kind of dabbling in an area which there's no going back from. Can't.
It's the problem is a lot. YouTube has a lot to answer for, because a lot of florists are telling me these days where the customer or the potential client comes in and says, oh, but my auntie's best friend down the road and round the corner has watched a YouTube video, so she's going to do all the flowers. And And then you see the photographs and the flowers are deader than a funeral that was down the road, you know, it's awful.
It's a common story. Quite often we would get someone turn up with parts of a bouquet in their hand and pleading with us to, can you make something from this? Can you? And of course your heart goes out to them, but you really wish they would have come to you first, because it's what's the saying, Alison, about saving money? Spoil the ship for a ha'porth of tar. That probably means nothing to a lot of people, but it's a case of penny pinching, isn't it? Where actually, you know, you wouldn't tell the dentist how to drill your teeth. No.
Not when he's got a drill in your mouth, no.
You absolutely wouldn't, would you? Because you are not the expert in this particular field. And I think we don't, as a kind of breed, florists that is, insist on our credentials being understood and that being part of the sell. And having a knowledge that we have years of experience and we've done these things so many times, it's got to be something that we make very clear to the customer and make sure that they have an appreciation of that, because otherwise we're selling ourselves very short.
Absolutely. So tell me what you're adding in here and your base. What is your base here?
The base was made on cardboard and then wires drilled through the handle. Then this whole base was covered in the same paper,
Japanese
handmade paper. Yeah, that's it. But this one, the holy paper, ripped up and then glued over the top. And then I've used the Veronica to make a swirling detail. And on top of that, I've got a little bit of Hoya and a little bit of Echeveria and some chlorophytum, just to give you that green feeling that you were talking about. So that there's something that's kind of quite quick and simple about this, but it gives the impression of being a bit more complex, a bit more designed.
It's really quite interesting, because on one of the other screens I've got here, because I've got lots of screens up, it's like Danziger's logo. Do you realize that you basically created Danziger's logo there?
They must, Danziger have been brainwashing them in the night, haven't they? That's what it is.
Don't put it past them. Betty's killing herself on here.
But that's the kind of thing which is actually quite classical, a white base, green and white flowers. It's a slightly different, it's not a hand-tied posy of roses. What it is more thoughtful, and it gives a little bit more shade and dimension. And
you could have that base ready-made, ready to go.
Absolutely. This is something that you could have in the background, under the table, lots and lots and lots of, in fact, I do have lots of these ready to go. I also have lots of open wire structures because they'll fall into any kind of work that I decide to do.
Good tip. Good tip. Are you all having fun watching this? Here, by the way, somebody is definitely still liking watching this. Ben has come back. Welcome, Mr. Ben. Yes, everybody's loving and seeing you and your terrible tail. Goodbye. What a cat.
Okay, Alison, just to finish, really, I wanted to show you, this is a Limonium called Pina Colada. And this one I've used chopped up into small little segments to create a very simple effect, because I think Limonium, if it's kept clean, if it's kept in fresh water and it's used in an efficient way where the individual parts are all wired up, it's extremely nice to create a cascade with, and it lasts. You could have this done for a week previous to the wedding. Can you see?
I can. Wow.
So the back, if you want to see the back, it's all made on just a normal cane hoop, overbound with a little bit of liner wool, and then tied through, the Limonium fully tied through to create this tied bunch at the back. And then to get the transparency, so you see into the design and out of the design, I've actually chained up links of Limonium, small little chunks, and threaded them over the top to create what is a transparent tail.
Yeah.
And you could just quickly finish this off quite quickly with a couple of orchid heads or not. And it depends on whether you want the totally kind of natural finish, because a lot of brides now really, really like the dried appearance of flowers.
Yeah.
They're really quite into the idea of keeping the whole thing afterwards and it being an heirloom. And so if this was hung from the rafters after the event, you can imagine it would still retain its character really well.
Sabina, I think it's Butler Sabina, but I think your first name is Sabina. Laura, how long did it take to make this piece?
Which one?
The one that's in your hand.
Oh, super quick, maybe an hour max.
About an hour. She's fast, eh? And
that's a fast.
Geraldine says this is fabulous.
Oh, that's good, Geraldine. I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Right, this is the type of thing which is never very far from me. I have these knocking around everywhere. So I would have a wire frame with tape and then just some base wires to actually make a very simple handle.
Yeah.
And when I talk about Limonium as a compression technique, this is a beautiful Limonium. I think this is my favourite one. This one is OSHI pink.
Right.
Amazing, look at that.
Wow.
It's a pretty one.
Money stem. I tell you, the grower will be jumping up and down like a rabbit just now when he's
honestly, just in a hand-tied bouquet, can you imagine the separation you would get from that?
Yeah.
But it's kind of in a different way that I'm going to use it. I wanted to just show you what I meant by creating a compression. So in using the
Saloma saying my heart just stopped. Whoa. Oh,
that's lovely.
Oh, she's a darling,
lovely.
Salma. She's a lovely woman.
Right, so if we take the Limonium and we take it to the border edge of the wire.
Pay attention, everyone.
You can constrict it or constrain it, or I don't know, wrestle it into submission a little bit. And that's a technical term, honestly. But
yeah,
what I'm effectively doing is controlling it, and this means it will not drop. And honestly, I've had Limonium that does not drop. And then what I've done is use the stems themselves to actually create a frame. So I've gone all the way around, and each time bound a little bit of heading, and then again and again and again until we've got a smaller.
So then you've got the structure built.
Absolutely. How will we do for time, Alison?
We're coming up to the big chat moment. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh,
so
folks, look at this. Isn't this great? This is gorgeous. I'm talking to the chat box, not the people. Yeah, it's really strange. That is absolutely gorgeous. But I get it.
So that's one way of constraining it. And obviously, as Alison said, there are things that we would do big just for show, but they're not really for brides. This is the size for the bride, but I'm going to show you the size for the camera.
Yeah, definitely. Larry likes your armature. There's no answer to that, Larry.
Well, at my age, you've got to take all these compliments as they come.
At her age, she'll take any compliment that's going, darling.
Yeah, I will. Right, so you can see here, Alison, that this one is a little bit bigger. And into it, I don't know whether you can see the full drop here. You see?
Oh, wonderful.
So within this design, I've actually done the exact same framework, but I've tied in. I'm absolutely in love with this particular flower. The colour of this is so fantastic, and the stem quality, it's actually the scoops, and this one is focal scoop, and it's kind of a bi-colour, purpley pinkish, little bit of a red tone to the centre, and I've tied that through the actual whole of the bouquet, along with a trail of Craspedia and leaves. You can see. So from the back, you can see how the handle is set offside, so it's easier to hold because the bigger the design, the easier it is to hold if it's slightly set up to one side. Exactly. And you can see the transparency perhaps, can you?
Absolutely perfect. Yeah, and it's perfect. Geraldine is saying or asking, what size wires are you using for the base?
For the one that I just demonstrated?
Yeah, I think so.
The external wire is 1.60 and then the internal wire is 90 for the handle.
Okay.
So to create the circle, heavier and then lighter for the handle.
Absolutely.
So just to finish off, just a quick show.
Okay, keep it going. She's under that table again.
I'm just gonna show you my last Limonium creation, and then you're good to go, Alison. I wanted to show you this little creature. Oh, this is a little bound with 2 types of Limonium, one which was the OSHI pink, one was SAFORA dark blue, and by chaining them up, I was able to get this kind of semi transparent coverage, and then I've just put some glued materials in to just accent. But that again is something which you could do, have on the shelf, ready to go.
I've got a couple of questions here from Gregory. May I ask, how long can we expect Calanchoe flowers to last if sealed with glue?
Sealing with glue, it obviously cuts down transpiration rate, but I would say that Calanchoe flowers don't really need that. They're so robust, they're seed and life. They don't really need you to do that process. I would say you'd get a good week of looking reasonable.
Okay.
In cold climate.
Yeah. I don't know where you are, Gregory. If you're basking somewhere in California, you know, I'm not speaking to you anymore.
No, me.
Your leg. We've got Jackie Hayward here as well. What did you call that thin glue container, and where do you get it from, please? I'm good at getting glue trails. Yeah, I know that.
So this is what Jackie's referring to, and it's if you go into craft glue spreader. Okay. And that will get you there. And is that Jackie Smith-Johns?
No, this is Jackie Hayward.
Okay, so Jackie, this is something which is probably on eBay, dare I say, or Etsy, where it costs you about £3.
Yeah. Okay, so go on the internet and key in glue craft
glue spreader,
and that should be it. Well, that is wonderful. Well, I think there's just so many ideas here. I'm glad you weren't sitting at home twiddling your thumbs when you were poor. Because
no, none of that.
Miss Laura has literally got out of her sick bed to do this. She had COVID last week, didn't you, darling?
I did, yeah. I was a little worried. I was a little worried.
I didn't want to postpone this again. It was my fault last time, but this is just wonderful. Oh, Jackie's saying it's just so good to see and hear both of us. That's very sweet. But look, everybody, what we're going to do is we're going to call the lovely and gorgeous. The only reason I hang out with Betty is for contrast, as I've always said. She's so beautiful. You're very welcome, Dee. Oh, here she is. There's the gorgeous Betty. Betty, you're on mute, so unmute yourself, darling.
Sorry.
It's okay. And so what we're going to do is, Jonathan, I don't think any of you have met the lovely Jonathan yet. I know him intimately, you know. He is going to let all of you in so you can directly ask your questions. But Betty's going to give you a bit of a lead on this, yeah?
Yeah, we shall start putting everyone as a panelist. So just say yes, and then we will see everyone and share the screen, and you can ask any question that you have. Laura, I must say that it's always surprising me to see how designers are taking our flowers and creating masterpieces. Really, it was inspiring. So very, very, very nice. And I'm looking forward to see the pictures that we can share with everyone on Danziger Live. So that would be fun. Here I see people are getting in, so give us a few more minutes just to make sure that people are getting in. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Catherine.
Oh, Catherine. Hi, Catherine. Actually, I can't see you, Catherine. You're just a black globe. What can I say? Viviana. Now, I've got to see the face behind this name. Your beautiful name. That's such a lovely name, Viviana.
It is.
Compared to Alison.
It's not Alison, it's Alison.
Sorry.
Alison, it's how you say
It's
it.
how you
isn't it?
pronounce the name, dear.
Actually, that's true. Yeah. Why do Frenchmen get away with it? Viviana, hello, darling.
This is the pretty face behind the name.
Very pretty face behind the name. Can I ask a question, Viviana? Where do you come from with that name? You have to click on the little, you see the little red thing that says mute there?
On the left, I think it is.
Yeah, if you click on the button that says mute, that will allow you to talk. Okay. Okay, I can't see your screen. If you look at the bottom of your
Oh, here it is.
ah, bingo.
From Colombia.
Where?
I'm from Colombia, from Bogota.
Ah,
Hello.
exotic, Viviana. Okay, great. Have you enjoyed this?
Yes, it's really inspiring.
Good,
That's
excellent.
good.
That's what we like to hear. Well, they're coming in thick and fast now. Apparently, oh, how do I say this? Anesu? Anesu? Is that
Yeah,
good?
Anesu.
It's good.
Anesu.
Hi, Anesu. Hi.
Hi,
Have you had a good time watching this?
it was awesome. Absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Where are you from?
Zimbabwe, Africa.
Fantastic.
Oh, you lucky girl. Africa. Oh my goodness me. I love Africa with a passion. I cannot begin to underestimate. I just love it. Ah,
You should come over soon.
I haven't.
Oh,
Do you know
can we
I
do
haven't-
that, Alison?
Yeah, I'd be there. You know me, I'd be there in a nanosecond. I've traveled quite a bit in Africa, and I will never get over seeing school children, you know, on their way to school, and there's zebras walking past, an elephant over there. You know, it's just all we see is a woman with a lollipop shaped way in the rain, and you guys are dealing with amazing wildlife. You're lucky people, lucky people,
Definitely.
and welcome. Okay, so I'm seeing the British Academy. Oh, Tina Parks has. So why are so few people showing their pictures? Oh, hiya, Linley. New Zealand did watch us. Yeah, well done, well done. Hi, Alan. Hiya. Yeah. Oh, that's great that they made it. Listen, Linley, are you in your pajamas? I need to ask. Hi, Tina. Linley, you need. Oh, last time we were on, which is a long time ago, we had a whole stack of Australians on, and they're, oh, but Alison, you know, it's like whatever time in the morning. And I said, are you wearing your pajamas? And they said, yeah. I said, oh, great, show us. Let's see the pajamas.
Oh,
Came on, they was really mean. Yeah. It was
I will remember to wear good pajamas if I'm ever doing that next time.
I have some with elephants on. Would that work?
As long as they're decent, I think we're all good.
We're all good. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Carolyn. Yeah. I'm just waiting for people's pictures to come up. So have you? Oh, here we go. I'm sitting up in bed. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and yes, I'm. Oh, and hang on. Heidi Lou saying she's in her pajamas as well.
Oh,
Are they silky? Are they fluffy? Has Laura inspired you to look at different materials to use in your bridal work? I'm just interested to know. Alan, are you talking to me or is it God? I'm not sure because you're talking up the way. Okay, Amanda, do you want to talk? You know how to do it. I know you know how to talk. You just, there you go, there's Amanda.
You're insinuating my makeup, and I have no idea what you mean by that at all. I'm
Great
trying to
to
help
see you,
Jackie
Amanda.
to find a picture. She's like, how do I get my video on? I'm trying to talk her through it, but
Okay, cool.
nothing. Hi, Laura.
hello, great to see you.
Hi, nice to see Singapore here. Yeah. How are you keeping? You okay?
Fine.
Oh, here you go. I have to tell people they need to approve the request to become a panelist. Okay, if you can still hear me, people, you have to approve a request that's come from
Yeah, our technical team is asking to replace you as a panelist, so you'll be able to be seen. So we need to get approval for that. So just say yes, and that's no problem. Then you'll be added here.
Otherwise, oh, hi, Lee. My photo won't come up, she says. Okay, Lee, I think you've got to approve something. I'm not sure. And Geraldine saying yes. And Janine saying, I don't see a request. So I can tell from the speed that Betty's typing her little click-clack fingers there that she's trying to access this for you. She's very good at that.
Anyhow, you can still ask questions on the chat. We are also here. So
does anyone have any questions for the gorgeous Laura? Okay. You have any questions for me then? Okay. Jane Benfield saying, I can't see a request on my phone. Isn't technical stuff wonderful when it works?
It is wonderful. It is.
Honestly. The guys, okay, what did you, oh, I've done that. What, the guys here will tell you that I cannot stand this kind of thing. Zoom, I hate Zoom. Sorry, Zoom, I hate you. Because things, you've got to activate things and you've got to be technical. And that's so not me. I'm too spontaneous. Here we go. Laura, does the Limonium have a smell?
It doesn't. I've got to be honest with you. I've had Limonium around me for the last week and I'm smelling nothing. But I would say that Limonium gets its reputation for creating a smell because it hangs around longer than everything else. And therefore it's in the bucket longer. Everything else is gone and the Limonium is still good. It looks good. So it probably doesn't get this water cleaned as much as it needs. So it gets this slightly tarnished reputation sometimes.
Okay, this is an interesting question. Well, it is for me, sorry about this. I'm a grower. Does the Calanchoe like hot weather or cooler weather, or is cooler weather better? Jane's figured it out, well done. Growing inside a high tunnel, is that a good idea? Any feedback on that, Laura? I wouldn't know the answer to that, but I'm fascinated by it.
It's sold as a house plant, isn't it, traditionally in the UK? So I'm guessing that it's greenhouse brought on, but I wouldn't be the authority. I would say that perhaps Betty would be able to answer about how their growers.
I would actually, this is a great question, and we will take it to our agronomist people to give the best answer here. So I will take Terry, if you can send me even privately your email address, I'll promise to get back to you with an answer.
Okay, so I'm trying because things are scrolling up now. So it says, can you please explain? This is Christine's. Can you please explain again the base of the bouquet with the Veronica heart?
Oh, yes, yes. So the one which is long and thin. So that's 5 180 gauge wires taped with green wire.
Right.
And then I've made we can find a format. Yeah, so a single
thing to shape round.
That's it. Yeah, so something to shape around, a big tube or a shot glass, something which is going to give you the size of a ring, which is comfortable to hold. So that section was then taped onto 5 long white wires, which are 180 gauge, all taped green, and then I pulled them apart in the center to create a sort of a open diamond shape. And then I used the compression technique with the Limonium up the length from both, one from one side, one from the other side, and then joined the stems in the middle so that they blended together, and the stems became like an open space to be able to put the little heart detail into.
Okay, so this is from Lindley, who's saying, I would like to see the side profile of the bouquet. How is it? How raised is it? Now, I think that's going to be one of your plate designs. Remember, what Laura's going to show you here is not an actual bridal bouquet as such. This is a demonstration bouquet, but it does. This one, for example, is pretty. Can you hold it sideways on? No, go back. That's just angle it straight up to your chin. Face it to your chin. That's it. Okay, so you see in this case, there's just a fractional raising there. It's not, I'm talking to this screen again. It's a fractional raising there, but it's not totally flat. I think the one she's talking about is the bigger bouquet, Laura, where you had the slightly domed effect.
Limonium one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
White one or pink one?
Just grab anything that's near you.
Okay.
I don't want you lying on that floor again, you know. I don't start.
Okay,
Jane,
so
you're so fetching in your bus. Those are nice chairs you've got.
so the side profile.
So if you hold it like the stems on the table and turn it slightly to your left, turn it slightly more to your left, so she can see what the height of the dome is over the wire. Okay, can you get that now? Yeah? Lindley? Come in, Lindley, wherever you are. Right, we've done that now. That's fabulous. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, Lindley says thanks. She's got it. Maria says, thank you so much. So many ideas. I'm feeling very inspired. Thank you, Laura.
That's good.
That's good. It makes it worthwhile getting out of a sick bed. What Jackie Smith-Jones is saying, this is actually a very relevant question, I think, specifically to the growers as well. I think they need to know this the answer to this. Our Lamonium has the smell when we get it direct from the wholesalers. A lot of people use Febreze to get rid of the smell. Is this not more to do with the conditions that the material has been kept in, and maybe it's been in the boxes for too long?
I would agree, because when I've got mine, I haven't had that experience at all.
Yeah.
But it could be that the distance traveling in America is far greater.
Exactly. Or they're buying it at a cheap price and stockpiling it, which happens a lot. Especially with chrysanthemums in Europe, you find that a lot at key times. So like Mother's Day or Women's Day or something like that. They bought the stems in cheaper, you know, when the going's been good, but then they stockpile them. And what a friend of ours, Pete Van Kampen, instigated was a date stamp for when the grower cut the flower. Yeah. And that was date stamped onto the sleeve of the flower so that they could identify if someone was stockpiling at a cheaper price, and the florist could be informed at the same time. It was it's not a particularly difficult thing to do, but it's what we would say in Scotland is a canny way of doing it. Yeah. I know, Jane, it is. It is. Do we have any other questions? No. And I think a lot of people are slightly frustrated by this access coding thing. Gregor says, thank you. You're very welcome, Gregory. Is that it? Well, yes. Oh no, here there's more. A hug from Guatemala. What more can you ask for in your life, Laura?
Yeah, you can't. There's not much more than that.
A hug from Guatemala. Thanks for everything. I'm driving, oh God almighty. I say goodbye to you, beautiful constructions. Don't say goodbye to the world though, Alba.
No.
Stop typing when you're driving. Oh, Jackie says, thank you. I wish you could see me. I wish we could see you as well, Jackie.
I wish that too.
Oh, and Lizzie Newcomb, Elizabeth Newcomb to her non-friends. Lizzie is saying, thank you so very much. Fab session, beautiful designs. Lee is saying, thank you, Laura, for your time. Lee comes from Canada, or as I like to say, Canada. Laura, you've made the UK proud, darling.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm very
Thank
proud
you.
of you. I'm proud to have had the privilege of working with you for so many years now. I'm sure there's been days where you've hated me, but that's okay.
Never. No. No. I was just going to thank you for everything.
No, you're more than welcome. And I'm sure that the team from Danziger are beside themselves with joy with the designs that you've produced. And I hope that it's given inspiration to the world, because I have to say, there's more people involved in this webinar than we've ever had before, Betty. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad for an old lady with COVID, is it?
especially when there's scrabbling on the floor.
Alison, Larry is asking when is the next session. So you can say, I think it is on the 28th of June.
June, yeah.
With Thomas.
With Thomas Max. Now it's Thomas Max, but actually his chums, I've only recently discovered, call him Max. Now Max, Laura knows him, you've worked with him as well.
He's lovely.
He's a darling, and he's going to give you some insights into Europa Cup as well, but he's also going to be talking about trends, and he's a wonderful designer who I've followed his career the same as I have with Laura. I am their dementor, so there you go. Okay, so and remember, we've got Danziger Live, so please join the Danziger Live page, because the whole reason it's there is for you to communicate with us. I say us, I mean me probably, but people can come back. Will it be the same time? Yes, it will, Lindley. It will be the same time. The one in July will probably be a different time because we're going further afield, shall we say, to another part of the world. So it will be a different time. But just keep watching Danziger Live and it will be posted there. Correct, Betty?
Of course. Okay.
Oh, we have 4 new members who just joined Danziger Live.
Congratulations.
Okay, Betty, over to you.
Thank you very much, Alison. Thank you very much, Laura. Thank you everyone for joining us once again to our Danziger Live. We're happy to have you here and see you next time.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, have a wonderful weekend.
Give my love to Zimbabwe and to Singapore.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Singapore for sure. Aha! Alka's just joined us. We're just saying goodbye.
I'm already there. It was wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
From Kenya.
Thank you. Lovely to see you.
Yeah.
Did you have any questions you wanted to ask?
No, really wonderful work you've done. Amazing.
Thank you.
Something new to learn.
We're all always learning.
You know something, I remember sitting on the floor with a very, very famous florist, global persona. And we turned to each other and we said, do you know something? No one knows it all. No one knows it all. There's always something to learn. Even if it's to learn what not to do, that's still a positive thing. Yeah. And, you know, what we have learned is that Laura's floor is very clean. Oh gosh. Okay, so that's it for today, I think. Oh, Tia! Finland's in. Hi, Finland. And Chrissy Chung's in. Chrissy, now Chrissy could be in Hong Kong or she could be in China, so that's great. Oh, this is, Geraldine says, wonderfully inspiring ideas. Pity it wouldn't let me on the screen. I'm from Ireland.
Oh,
don't take it personally. I'm Celtic as well, and it damn near often doesn't let me on the screen too. So thanks very much. Betty,
Yeah, Jonathan, we'll say goodbye to everyone and we'll close it now. So see you soon again. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I will bye.
Oh, no.
Bye-bye.